Cheers everyone, nice cream soda right there. Hey, thanks for coming and joining me in the gear closet today. I got a really quick video I wanted to make and share with you guys talking about a piece of gear that comes with me on every single backpacking trip I go on. Now, while a lot of my kit is variable and changes from trip to trip, and depending on the conditions I'm anticipating, this piece of gear comes with me everywhere I go, and I believe it really makes a difference to have this piece of kit with you when you're going out there. So the piece of gear I'm talking about is the Leatherman Signal multi-tool. Now, this is a really cool piece of gear I came across probably about a year and a half ago, and since getting it, it has come with me on literally every single backpacking trip I've been on. Now, while I've had a lot of little folding knives and multi-tools come with me out on the trail, it has a very unique tool within it that I think sets it apart from all other multi-tools or anything else like this that you might bring out with you on the trail. So let's jump right into it. I'm going to show you some of the features of the multi-tool here, and then we'll finish with the special tool that I think sets it apart from everything else and why you should consider carrying the Leatherman Signal. Starting on the outside with how you can carry the Signal, I like that it gives you two really cool different options here. So it has a belt clip, which is perfect for me because I carry it just tucked right down inside my pocket. It also has this carabiner style hook right here, so you can clip it, onto your shoulder strap, and it really gives you some other options of how you want to carry it. Opening up the knives here, you get two knives on the Leatherman Signal, which is really cool. You get a nice serrated knife and a straight edge knife. I've used the serrated edge to cut down some tree limbs when we wanted some nice little pieces to make a tiny fire, but I get my most use out of the straight edge blade. And I've used this from everything from opening food packages, cutting avocados, cutting little pieces of paracord, trimming gear, you name it. Having a blade with you out on the trail really is critical, and I've used this thing so much. Also, cool little feature it has right here, it has its own little sharpening steel, so you can detach this off the body right here and use it to touch up the blade on the knife. So, if you feel it's starting to get a little dull, you can give it a little touch with that sharpener, and it really does bring the blade back a little bit, so which is nice. You always have a really nice sharp knife with you out on the trail. Alright, opening the Signal up right here, you've got a pretty cool piece of gear, and I love having a nice little pair of needle nose pliers. And I've gotten some good use out of these on the trail. I've had to use these to crimp little pieces of either metal or plastic if I'm making a gear fix out on the trail. But the biggest use I've gotten for them is pulling little thorns from cactuses, or hitchhikers, as we call them here, out of your gear or out of your animal's fur. Now, if you've watched my hiking trip where I go down into Wiregrass Canyon, my poor dog Appa ran into a bush of hitchhikers. And hitchhikers are like a seed pod that have these little thorns and hooks coming out all around them. And as soon as you walk by the bush and brush up against it, these things grab onto you and they carry with you down the trail. And that's how the plant spreads its seeds. But these things are a nightmare because once they get on you, they literally rip clothing and stuff coming off because they are just so embedded in there. And poor Appa, he walked into a bush of them, and myself and Sam spent about half an hour picking these things out of his belly and off the sides of him where he had brushed up against it. So really nice to have a pair of pliers like this, because if you go to grab those with your fingers, they really can poke and prick you. So having a nice little pair of pliers right here where you can kind of gently grab them, work them out of your gear, work them out of your animal's fur if they walk into it, is really nice, and it saves your fingertips, and then also, just makes it a little bit easier. So definitely nice to have those with you out on the trail. Moving right along here on this side, if you open it up, you've got three little tools here. So on the end, you've got a reversible screwdriver. So on this side, you've got a flathead, and then you can flip it and switch it for a Phillips head. Now, I've had to use this making small repairs on the trail. It's always really nice to have, and it's great to be able to have that screwdriver and be able to manipulate little things if you need to. Bottle opener, hey, you saw me right here. It's great to have one of those out with you. And the awl or the puncher here, I've only had to use this honestly once out on the trail, and my buddy's shoulder strap broke. And so we use this awl to punch a hole through both the body of the strap and the body of his pack. And using some paracord, we essentially stitched it back together and was able to get him off the trail. So actually have gotten some use out of that, which is really cool. Okay, so finishing up here, let's talk about the special tool inside here that I think sets the Signal apart from any other piece of gear. So it's actually here embedded in the body, and if you pop this and clip it out right here, you get this little tool. And so this is really cool. On one side, you have a little whistle that you can blow into, and this thing is actually surprisingly loud. On the other side, you have a Magnesium Striker, so you can use this to start a fire. I think this tool sets the Signal apart from anything else, specifically because the way I carry it. Now, I mentioned earlier, the Signal has this belt clip, and I keep it right in my pocket while I'm hiking. Where I'm hiking here in the Southwest, two of the dangers that I face are crossing exposed pieces of rock and crossing running water. In both of those instances, if I come across it on the trail, normally I'm unclipping my backpack. And I do this so that if I begin to slip or fall, I can detach myself from the backpack and separate myself from it and avoid having it either pull me further off the rock face, or if I go into the water with it, get snagged on something and get stuck underwater because I couldn't get it undone. If I fall into either one of those situations, and I had to ditch my pack and either fell off some rock or got washed downstream and was able to get out and self-rescue, having the Signal, I think, would increase my chances of survival greatly because of that special tool. So if I was washed away, if I fell down somewhere and I was separated from both my pack and or the people I'm hiking with, having the Signal and having the tool within that Signal, again, in my pocket, I'd be able to pull this out and blow on this whistle until I'm blue in the face. And that's a great way to be able to signal your location and blow on it repeatedly to get people's attention, signal where you are, signal that you're alive and okay, and bring people right into where you are, rather than having to yell and blow out your vocal cords. So having that whistle is awesome. On the other side, having that striker, I think, is just another added benefit, because if you were in that situation and separated from your gear or other people, and say you had to spend a night out on the trail before they could get to you and rescue you, if you had this in your pocket, you could use this Magnesium Striker to easily start a fire. And having a fire greatly increases those chances. So you can start a fire, stay warm, potentially cook food, I guess, if you found something, and also signal your location. Again, if you throw some green vegetation on that fire, it's going to throw up a bunch of smoke, and they can say, hey, he's right over there. So I think the Signal is a great tool to have with you, not only to have a multi-tool because of all these great things that it has inside it, but having this special tool I think really sets it apart, and for me really makes it worth its weight in gold. Well, thanks for joining me, everybody. I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you've gotten any use out of this and you think you could use the Leatherman Signal or you're intrigued by it, drop me a like on this video. I'd really appreciate it. And if you have any other questions about it or want my opinion on any other aspects of it, drop me a comment and ask me a question. I'm more than happy to answer them because I think it's a great tool to have with you out on the trail. Please subscribe to my channel. I always appreciate a sub. Hey, if you're getting out on the trail, always make sure you bring plenty of water, know where you're going, and practice good leave no trace principles. That's all I got for you today. Take it easy. Have a good one, everyone.